Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Casual Podcast, episode number 23. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and a fantastic week. Blake is frozen. Yo, what a great week we had this week. It was absolutely insane. And I mean, like, dude, there's not really much to kind of get into. Last week there was a couple episodes that just didn't drop, like Wistoria, My Academia. But this week everything dropped and everything was just so good. And honestly, the season has been phenomenal. It's just going to keep getting better. So I think we should just hop right into it. And listen, what do you want to talk about first?
You pick. I'm gonna let you lead with these because I want to hear what you. I just
Okay,
want to hear what you think.
I'm going to say
You
this
you.
right now. Alya hides her feelings in Russian. We're going to talk about last. And I
All
have
right.
one of the craziest hot takes that you will not see coming. Okay, I have
All
stuff
right.
to
Perfect.
say about this anime. And
Yeah, bro.
but I know not everyone watches this. We're just gonna skip it to last. But I got things to say about this anime.
It
I
took me. It took everything in me to not text you and be like, "Yo, brother, did you watch this episode?"
Dude, same. I was watching. I'm like, gosh, should I text Blake? But I'm like, I don't know if he
I
watched
literally
it.
had it typed
Bro,
out, and I'm
bro,
like, you know what? Nah.
that's why I didn't text you because I'm like, oh, if Blake already saw this, he would have texted me. So he hasn't seen it yet. So I'm not gonna text him.
I didn't want to out myself. All right, we're on the same page though.
No,
Perfect.
but I got something hot to say. I know I always say I got a high take, which I don't know. I feel like sometimes I do, but let's talk about Elusive Samurai because that one was just fucking badass. That one was just crazy.
Great episode. I feel like the thing that stuck out to me the most about this episode, it's like, which I think is five, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Hmm.
Through five episodes, like the pacing has been perfect. Like
Yes.
they're introducing characters well. They're all around the same age as Tokiyuki. Like I don't know. Like I feel like everything they're doing is right. Like they're not. They're giving us action, and even the CGI I didn't mind. Some of it was a little choppy, but like the shots where they were like, actually shooting each other and like doing damage, they were like still really solid. Like I was impressed. I'm definitely really excited to see how the second half goes.
I thought the action this episode was phenomenal. It was so good. Dude, he fucked that dude up with the
He's
arrows.
Yeah, dude, he's such a good like weirdo villain with like the
Hmm.
bulging eyes, Sadaume or Sadamume or whatever
Yeah.
his name is. I love that he wasn't just like done after this. You know what I mean? Like he comes back after the battle, like top tier shit.
Yeah, it's not like one of those little interactions. Oh, you put two arrows into him, and then it's like, all right, he's done now. You're not going to see him. Like, he's still around. He's still there, at least until he gets killed. Like, we don't know if that's going to happen. But I think him, the main character, finding his, like, rhythm and finding his fighting style, especially on horseback, was absolutely insane. Bro, when he was, like, aiming backwards, and the guy's like, oh, like, he can't reach, and then he swings his foot across, and then boom, hits him in the throat. I was like, oh, shit! And then he wraps back around and hits him like he hits him in the ear. Not only does he hit the guy in the ear, but then he's like, "That's for the Shrine Maiden," and she was like, "Oh." It's like, yo, our boys got game. Our boys got game.
Dude,
That was amazing. And like, I forget who said it, but someone even said they're like, I don't know if he did that intentionally or not, because like that's a hard fucking shot. But like, that
he
was
has that little like
smooth.
he has that little like pop up that pops up, and he's like, I totally didn't do that on purpose, but I'll take it. Like that, they're still like cheeky even in the moment. Like Tokiyuki's being like cool, and like they still make you laugh. I love that.
Yeah, dude, it's been really good because like the action has just been like so. It's been such a great appetizer because we know that eventually
Yes.
they are going to get into war and it is going to be actual combat with actual life and death. We are going to have like real arrows, not fake ones, and it is going to get very intense and it's going to get crazy. And I feel like this has just been a nice appetizer to kind of like, hey, here's kind of like what it's going to look like. We've already seen like actual combat with him, being elusive in the battlefield multiple times with him falling off that cliff, but then also him with his uncle. Now we're kind of seeing how it's going to be with the bows, and it's like, dude, this kid on the battlefield is going to be a menace. He's got retainers who are just so unbelievably skilled and insane. They're going to be awesome as well. That new kid is a fucking beast, a thief. I love him. I don't know. He reminds me of somebody. I just don't know who. His character design feels so familiar.
Yeah, and like his personality too. Like the first interaction with Tokiyuki is absolute gold. And like just like you said, the way they're like making this appetizing, like building up for the rest of this stuff is just like perfect. It's not like too far fetched or too quick or too OP. Like when he leans in, it's like it's all about money. The only thing you can trust is money. And he's like, "Wow, I thought you would ask for a province because I'm the Shogun, and when I take back the land," and Cuz was like overwhelmed, like he had been defeated. Like just really cool little interaction to like get them to like work together.
Well, it's crazy because he keeps underestimating the MC. He's kind of like, oh well, like if you're gonna ask me to do something dangerous, I want you to come along with me. And he feels like most people are gonna be like, oh no, I'm too scared. But he's like, all right, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to come. That seems fun. That seems cool. And he's like
Yeah.
surprised by that. And he's like, I want money. That's all I care about. And he's like, okay, well, how much do you want? He's like, this amount. He's like, all right, yeah, cool. He's like, I thought you'd want like a property. I thought you'd want like half the country. I was fine with that. He's like, like fuck, I could have gotten land in a harem. Like he, bro, dropped the ball. Like,
Dude, and like his internal voice is like all high pitched and shit. Yeah, it's so good.
but like it's insane because like he's so like badass, and like I didn't think that they'd be able to like add more like just sick characters. You know what I mean? Because the characters we already have, his retainers are already like so cool. They already have like their own kind of like charm to them, per se. And it's just like seeing this kid. I feel like he's so cool because like he's such a great character, but he also clashes with them big time. Because all he does care about is money. He's not really loyal to the MC yet, but you can tell he's probably going to be. He's just like more of like a criminal, right? Because he's a thief. You know, he's more of like an
Yeah.
assassin. He's more of kind of like you wouldn't really expect that, but he's like going to be such a an insane addition to his squad. I mean, this kid's gonna be so cool, but it gets me so excited to see who else is gonna be joining as well. Because like they're hitting it with character designs. These character designs are just so good, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, and they give you that like little backstory with like his mentor or his father or older brother, whoever that is. It's unexplained. He gives Genba the mask, and like his kind of like shinobi, like almost Anbu looking design is really really cool. I can't pin who his personality reminds me of though.
Kind
Like
of
he
like a
does remind
Nosuke,
me of something. Yeah, like real high energy and like
except with food, it's with money.
yeah, that's a very good analogy. Like, I don't know. He brings like a different dynamic than all the other characters. Like the two girls are like they're funny, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't really bring like any banter to the group. And neither I forget the swordsman kid's name, but he's like very loyal, like a typical retainer. And like this kid's kind of out for himself, but like you said, he'll probably fall in line and be loyal. But like the skills he brings are what is needed in their group. You know, he's like a thief. He's quiet. He can sneak. He's very assassin like you were saying. But also like his personality is like a different dynamic to the group, which I think kind of lightens it up and like makes it more fun. Like they have a very
Exactly.
eccentric group of kids.
Yo, exactly. Like it's gonna be so cool to see how it turns out, especially with more people they add. But like the one girl's actually like is actually pretty funny because when the one dude was like, I'm hunting for like the family." He's like, "There's no way that kid's a part of it, right? Like, no way he's gonna just bring him out right in front of me." And you see them in the background, and the one girl's like, "Ah, it's him!" And they turn around, and she's like, like,
Yeah.
I don't know." And then she's like, "It's him!" It's like, dude, like that was actually like really funny. She had to be dying with that.
She like pulls out the sign and it's like pointing right at Tokiyuki. I love that. They're such like I feel like they all embody what's the damn priest name?
Bro, I don't know any of the
Shuri
names. Guys, next week I'm gonna know the
Shurihige or
names.
something. Shurihige or something like that. I'm probably butchering it, but
Probably. I'll take your word
it's
for it.
close. Yeah, it's close to that. We're in the ballpark. But they all embody his like serious at times, but like super playful and like almost a clown, like spirit personality type energy. But then like he locks in and his game plan for the whole fight with Sarume from like the last two episodes was perfect. Like he is still very intelligent and I do want more out of him. I want more out of the priest.
See, actually, I want less. Because, like, here's the crazy thing. I think he's too much of a cheat code. You know what I
That's
mean?
fair.
I feel like
Yeah.
him kind of knowing everything that's going to happen and kind of telling the kid kind of just makes the kid less impressive. Because
And you
he's
want him develop on his own, not just like through the
mm,
foresight of some shoddy shrine maiden priest dude.
exactly like there's some aspects I absolutely love about the same. I think this anime is incredible. I really enjoy watching it. But like, yeah, there's like that aspect, but then also the aspect that they're kids about to take on like one of like some of the greatest warriors in the country. You know what I mean? That part's kind of like like come on. But like there is like so much to it that is really good, and I feel like we're gonna get to a point too where like I hope sometime eventually they're going to be like a little bit of a time skip. I think would be really nice. Um, because the thing we know is that like in 2 years it becomes a war hero, but that doesn't mean that the anime ends in 2 years of the anime's time. You know what I mean? That's just like when he's on the battlefield and winning, he's being known as a war hero. You know, eventually the anime is gonna have to end with him like regaining power and then restoring the world back to like kind of how it was, but even better because he's not gonna be a puppet now, and now he's gonna be an actual ruler. So I think that hopefully there's like a little bit of a time skip where we kind of see them a bit more mature and kind of see it like a bit more developed because I think that it could move a bit too fast. They do feel just way too young. and then a little like they are gaining more experience, but like it's gonna be really cool. I feel like the anime has done so amazing so far, and it's not gonna disappoint. And it's just gonna keep up with it, and I'm really excited to see it.
Dude, same. I've really been loving it, and I feel like they've done a perfect job so far at like progressing naturally and like in a way that isn't too fast or too slow. But I feel like you're right on the money. Like that's the last hurdle or obstacle they might have for their story writing. You don't want to push it too fast or too far, too quick. But I forget if he's 8 now and he will be 10, or he is 10 and will be 12.
I think he's 8.
I think you're right. So he'll be 10. So like maybe like for like OG Naruto vibes where they're still kids, but they're not like adolescent like they are now.
But at the same time, like Naruto wasn't like Hokage
They
until
were,
he was like 20. You know what I mean? Like that's the equivalent.
and I think they're either 12 or 13. Like they're still a little older than Tokiyuki would be after the 2 years, but yeah, it would just maybe feel a little more realistic. Like you have not like a total adolescent boy like decapitating these like ridiculously strong feudal samurai.
Yeah.
But like honestly, I'm here for it either way. I think it would just make it hit home a little harder, but
Yeah.
I'm all in, man. I've gotten a couple people turned on to it too, like the
Yeah.
art and like the first 2 episodes people have really enjoyed. So hopefully they stick with it, but yeah, so far nothing but good things to say about it.
That's the thing. With more episodes that come out, it becomes harder, I think, for people to turn the anime away. Because I could see sort of like the first 2 episodes just not really being your thing. But like when you're seeing like these episodes where like you're seeing the elusiveness, you're seeing the kind of turnaround tragedy with killing his uncle and everything surrounding that. But then you're seeing him in archery. It's like, dude, it's like so action packed. It's so funny. The animation's phenomenal. The art is gorgeous. The characters are just flawless. So it's just like the more episodes it drops, the just more it solidifies how good it is. So like there are some hurdles here and there, and that's the same thing with every single anime. You know what I mean? And the hurdles really aren't bad ones. So it's just like I'm super excited for the season. I think it's gonna be awesome, and I'm really really loving this anime.
Hell yeah. And like the last thing I would say is I kind of touched on it last week. It feels like a very direct, straightforward adaptation of the manga, which has a lot of
Yeah, you showed me those
material.
panels. That's actually insane.
Yeah, so I feel like the story will stick to that and it'll stick to the original content. So I feel like the story, however it progresses, will be pretty good. That I'm like confident in that. But anytime you have like whatever 10, 12, 17 like volumes of manga, I feel like you have a pretty good story and people are buying in. So yeah, like you said, I'm rocking with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We also just talk about Wistoria. It was a little on hiatus last week, but came back this week, and goddamn, did it come back this week? Like so good, and it's setting up for next week, which is gonna be fucking insane. I'm like licking my lips ready for next week for Wistoria, dude. It's gonna be so good.
When I popped on Crunchyroll this week, that was the first thing I looked for. I'm like, please tell me we got an episode of Wistoria. And of course it delivered. It was super sick.
Yeah.
And like the first, I don't know, maybe like 10, 12, 15 minutes of the episode, I'm like, you feel it like in my stomach. I'm like, damn, I feel bad for Will. Like he's kind of timid. He's not, but he is. Like he's like really respectful to people. He's
Oh,
like
how he's like
shy
taking the
almost.
abuse a little bit.
Yeah, he's taken advantage of. People talk shit like directly to his face in this like haughty-taughty magic school, and like he just takes it, even though a lot of people do know he has talent and he is strong. And it's like, damn, stick up for yourself.
I don't think they do.
Maybe
That
not,
we
maybe
gotta
not a lot, but like
we have to remember
Shion
Shion is the
and
one
there's
who knows him really. She like you got to remember. So I don't think anyone really knows because I don't think who would see it. No one goes into the dungeons with him. Right? Shion went into the dungeon, overstepped, big level, high level thing came out, and he thought he could take it, could not take it, and that's when Will came in, and that's what really pissed Shion off. Is because he's like, "Fuck, like this kid's actually strong." Like Shion didn't find out until what episode 1 or 2. You know what I mean? So like he was like what the hell? And then everyone thought Shion beat it. Shion never told anybody that like, oh yo, Will can actually like fuck around, find out type of shit. Like don't mess with that guy because it's not gonna end well for you. And then his whole magic battle with the teacher, like no one knew about that. There was no audience. It wasn't being talked about. Because does the teacher really want to admit that Will kid who can't use magic got a hit on him when he's trying to be a manji like Vander or whatever, and he's like really close to it. So it's like I actually don't think anybody knows because I don't think in this school he's technically allowed to use his sword in classes. That's why it's in his locker. He's only allowed to use it when he goes to the dungeon. So that's why I think everyone walks all over him and thinks he's so pathetic, which is why when there's this magic festival and he's going to use his sword this time, because I don't think he did last year or the last time it happened, because he talked about just being bullied the entire time and how he's scarred from it.
Yeah, and like embarrassing himself. I guess the only two people who would know are Colette, his like girlfriend. I mean, not girlfriend, but she loves him. Let's be honest. She's into Will. She's seen the body Adi. Let's you know.
I think we're all in the will. I mean, that's a homie, bro. Like that guy is like such a great dude. Like how can you not? Like he is
He's
such an
like he's
amazing
got one
guy.
of those he's got one of those bodies that it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym for to achieve this fucking physique. He's fucking
I've been more
sculpted.
motivated. I've been more motivated since that episode. Like I gotta work out. I
Shout out Will.
yeah, gotta
But yeah,
compete
I
with
guess
Will.
Colette and the girl, the like two-faced girl, we see her very briefly in this episode, and I can't remember her name because I feel like we've got bombarded with names this week. The blonde girl who's like real
Electro
like
type.
kawaii and chuny, like, and then she like fucking talks to herself and she has that like deep voice and is like scheming, like,
Did I miss
or she was
that?
kind of looking for Will, or it was last episode maybe, or episode 3, I guess. When they're
Oh
in
wait,
that dungeon fighting the ice thing.
that wasn't. We didn't see her this episode though, right?
She walks by when Will and Colette are talking in the cafeteria about
Oh,
her
you're
trying to
right.
convince him, and she just has that like sly smile, but that's all I think we see of her. Or maybe that she passes. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
even
a
know. I
good
think
look. That's a good look. I think I missed that.
the only reason I'm paying attention to her is because she reminds me of, again, I'm just there's too many names right now. The well-chested blonde girl in Classroom of the Elite who's like playing everybody and is like a total bitch.
That like freaked the fuck out episode 1 and was
Yeah,
just
I'm
like
like, yo,
kicking
that
the railing.
she's giving me like her vibes.
Yo, I can absolutely see that. So I can understand that, but yeah, I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like it's insane. We're gonna definitely see Will kind of be able to shine this time around. But like I said, every time Will's popped off with a sword, no one else has been around for it. Like very few people. Like I think that yeah, you're right. Colette knows, that girl knows, Shion knows, the two teachers, the person who runs the school, the director. But that's like it. You know what I mean? Because he's not allowed to use it. So I think
Yeah.
that we're finally going to be able to have Will get some love, which I'm really excited for because there's just so many things that were great about this episode. Like even leading up to all this, like let's not focus about Will for a second. Like the building up of those three top kids is actually insane. Like I thought Shion would be like the top kid in the school. He's actually not, and you actually kind of feel for him. Like he's actually like slept on. And it's one of those things where I can see his frustration where he's down there looking at the betting odds. Like let's be honest, if we were in his position, we would too. I'd be
Oh,
curious.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're looking at these three snobby kids, and he's even like, yo, like, why is no one paying attention to me? Like, I'm just as good with the use of magic than they are. It's just my test scores that brought my credits down, which is why I'm not being looked at. Like, he acknowledges that the whole thing of this credits, putting you in a placement of where you are is bullshit. It makes no sense. So, him seeing getting frustrated, I completely understood it. But then again, we have that moment where Will's getting walked over and he's just accepting it and, like, doesn't care. Um, but then that really builds up those three magic kids, the three top kids in the school, of like just how everyone thinks that they're so amazing, they're gonna win the festival, and it's so great. And it comes into that nobility shit that we see a lot in Black Clover. So that building up to then the tavern scene where that one blue hair kid walks in and is a complete piece of shit. We see Will mad. Oh my god, Will pissed is amazing,
So
amazing.
good, dude. And like it's cool like he stands up for the dwarves, I believe they
Yeah,
are, right? Stands up for the dwarves, like they make fun of the food that he makes, and like that little line Will gives about how like they come from nothing, like they don't have magic, like they have to work super hard in this barren wasteland to like make food.
about the
And
beans.
that's what
Yeah.
those beans represent. So like show some respect and take it back. And then he just like smashes his Julius is his
Yo.
name. Just like literally grabs him and smashes him, and like honestly that was so sick. It's like because the whole episode I'm like, damn, like I wish Will would stick up for himself or somebody other than Colette. Like, thank you
Mhm.
for being a good friend, but like, it's always like the girl, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have any like real homies besides the guy he works with. And even he,
That's his roommate. Yeah.
yeah, his roommate, I forget his name.
We're gonna learn
Again,
names next week. That's what we're gonna do next week. Sadly,
Rosty.
Rosty's his name.
Yeah, that's a forgettable name, but either way, like when Julius kind of corners him, like Will, I don't know, Will was just kind of like puffing his chest out. Like I don't think he was really cornered. Like he pins his arms up against the wall. You see like the buff dwarf dude with the gray beard. He like kind of leans in, and then Rosti is standing back there, and like they show him lift his wand real quick. So like at least he was like riding for him. You know what I mean? At least Will's got like
Yeah, he was gonna
one
let
one
him
or
do
two
his thing.
homies.
He was gonna let him do his thing, kind of like, hey, like if you it gets out of hand, then I'll step in, but I don't want to like cut you short. Because that's one of the things where it's like let Will have his moment to shine because that's what it happened. Is that like he had him pinned, and you look in Will's eyes and you're like, yo, you don't have that guy pinned. Like he's like pressing against his chest, and he's like, it's when you kind of realize like I'm kind of like out of my element here. Like let's back up a little bit because there's more to this kid. And again, let's pick on the kid without a sword while you have your weapon. You fucking pussies. Oh, everything's about magic. No, you fucking egotistical fucks. I can't wait for him to smack that kid in the festival. I can't wait for Will to just
Yes.
all over the board. And you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna call it now. Will's not gonna have his sword. Will's not gonna have his sword. He's gonna get embarrassed. He's gonna get hit. He's gonna be on his ground. He's gonna be like, "Oh my god, it was just like last time." And he's gonna be all upset. And Colette's gonna grab that sword and gonna fucking throw it to him again. It's gonna be just like against the teacher. He's gonna grab the sword and then just dummy that fucking blue-haired kid. Colette better have put money on Will. Like, because I think that would be like such a cool thing to add because Colette now knows about the underground gambling and like she knows Will's power. It's like for her to not bet on Will would be so stupid because we all saw that and we all thought like, yo, I'd be putting money on Will. You know his odds are gonna be dog shit and it's gonna be an easy dub.
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely like the sleeper. Like you want to bet on him because he's the easy beat because he doesn't know any magic. But I'm definitely with you. I think within these next two episodes, we're gonna see Will's stocks go way up. I think he'll probably get his butt kicked in the beginning when he squares off against Julius. Like I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if we'll see other people or they'll give us like a couple 10 minutes worth of like quick skirmishes with
Yeah.
like the big kids moving on. But I think we'll get at least half an episode or it'll bleed into episode 7 where Will eventually overcomes Julius. And like I think you're right. He'll have to get his sword from somewhere, but I think he'll reach a point and just be like, fuck it, I'm taking this dude down.
Well, that's the thing that I'm actually like really kind of interested about is because it's like I have a feeling like yeah, you're absolutely right. We can have this kind of bleed over multiple episodes, but like the way Wistoria is like paced is like it doesn't feel rushed, but they're getting a lot done quickly. You know what I mean? Like,
Fights are pretty short overall. Like they're not really drawn out. Like
but they
kind of
don't
similar to
feel
like
short because they're so action packed, and they're able
yeah,
to
and they're
like
very
yeah, they're able to
well, they're
set
like well done.
exactly. They're able to set it up so quickly, have it, and then it's over. And they're like, oh, like the fight with the teacher was one episode. You know what I mean? So it's like they already set up the festival. So it's like I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna have next episode kind of like be the festival a little bit, everyone hanging out, show a couple of fights, and then maybe the start of Will's fight, and then it bleeds into the next episode, or is it gonna all be in next episode? I have no idea. Like Wistoria is doing a very good job pacing because you're getting a lot in a short amount of time, but it doesn't feel like that. You know what I mean? It feels like it just feels really in a good spot right now. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel slow. It's just perfect. So I can't wait.
I'm loving it. Yeah, I think this is the perfect time to get into it because you're eventually going to see like how the real plot is going to play out. Like what's going to happen between these this competition. Like if something outside is going to like change the story for us, like we had talked about a couple weeks ago. Like we're really going to see the plot expand or like kind of come together. I guess I should say in these next couple weeks and. Will stocks are going up, so it's the perfect time to start watching, and it's been like a lot of fun. It's hard not to root for Will.
Dude, that's what's saying. Like Will really is such a great guy because like bro's fucking jacked, strong as shit, but like he is just like such a down to earth dude. Like he's like so like respectful, and I mean respect in, like the truest form. Where like his roommate even said, he's like, "Are you sure you want to work for these dwarves? Like they're paying you like lower than normal wages." He's like, "Dude, like I like them, I respect them. They treat me good, I treat them good. You know what I mean? Like that's what matters to him, not a couple extra bucks." And that's with him working two jobs and going to school and in the dungeon. You know what I mean? Like that kid like needs every dime he can get as quick as possible. And the fact that like he's doing this for the dwarves, and you see it how attentive he is, where he knew the story behind the beans. He knew like the what it meant. He
Yeah,
knows them. He actually took the time to actually get to know them. That's why they respect him and are there for him so much, and they appreciate him. So he's just such a great guy, great MC. I think he's someone to really rally for and root for. And I think that this whole festival is gonna be very chaotic because he even said he does not have enough credits to graduate. He cannot go to the upper institute, but you can get scouted at the festival. So I feel like what's going to happen is Will could kick some ass, but who's to say a sword's even allowed at the festival? So I feel like Will could win, but still get, like, hey, no, you can't do that. You're disqualified type thing.
yeah, that's a very good point to bring up. I think that's a very good possibility, but like
Oh.
however it plays out, he'll be recognized, and like people will be like, all right, Will's not just like a laggard as they keep calling him.
Yeah, like he's gonna get some respect on him. People are gonna be like, "Yo, Will, like you fuck up, people. Like it is nothing, my guy. Like you are a beast." He's gonna get some fans. We're gonna say that he's gonna get fans. But I feel like that's where you're talking about with the story kind of getting complex and like really good and speeding up is really gonna happen because we're gonna see a lot of the discrimination of magic users in this festival with the next couple episodes of Will not being able to use it, using a sword instead. Should he be allowed to win? Should he be even allowed to compete? Should he be allowed to go up to the Upper Institute? It's going to get very chaotic from that standpoint. I feel like coming up, which is going to make things very interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm dying to see how it plays out. Like I said, this was like the first thing I wanted to watch when I popped on a
Mm-hmm.
Crunchyroll, and I want the scene. I want the scene where Julius humbly accepts defeat, comes back into the Dwarven bar, and apologizes to everybody. I want full Dogeza, hands and knees, big apology. I want it. I don't care if it's at the end of the season or when it comes, but I think that would be a nice like vindication for Will.
That would be amazing. I don't know if that's going to happen though. I really don't know, but that would be amazing. That'd be so good.
Yes,
But
so good.
dude, yeah, this season's going to be absolutely insane. For me, I absolutely agree. I think Wistoria is my number one each week to go to, and then Elusive Samurai for sure.
Yeah, but and both of them are new. You know what I mean? Like we try to like bring that up each week. Like obviously My Hero Academia is good. Like that's been rocking the last few weeks. Besides the break, but
Multiple breaks
like
aside, yeah.
yeah, like these original like premiere animes have been just outstanding, and like those two for me are like the highlights of the season because they just everything, pacing, art, like the animation, the fights, they've been really exciting, and like that's what you want as an anime watcher to dive into something new and be like, damn, I can't wait to watch that next week.
Both of them better have like 5 seasons. They're going to be pissed. Like they
I
have
know
their
a,
content.
I know Elusive Samurai has like a very good amount of manga, but Wistoria, I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem is with Mashal or whatever that one anime was called. I only had like a couple of seasons and then it's like over. So like Wisteria could be the
Yeah,
same, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's like Black Clover, which just runs.
10 volumes. That's plenty to get us rocking here.
Yeah, we're set. We're set. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for that. But we want to dive into Nobody in This World Remembers Me, or do you have anything else to say about Wistoria?
Watch Wistoria
Watch
now. This is
Wistoria.
the
Watch
week to do
Wistoria.
it. Invest
Absolutely.
before it becomes mainstream.
Yo, also real quick, I just remembered as we said that I think his cat, his familiar, whatever it's called, I think he can use magic.
Kiki.
It took down the shield, with
Yeah.
the locker. So could Will hypothetically use his cat like to with magic or something? Could that be the loophole we were talking about? Because we're talking about like, oh, he has to use magic in some way. Is it going to be like he can use it to enhance himself, like with buffs or what? But like, could that kind of be the missing key that we're going to get into later? Because we don't talk about that cat at all, but it's brought up all the time. It's in every episode. It plays key parts, but it's never actually talked about. Like, what is this cat? Who is it? Where did he get it? Anything about it? You know what I mean?
Very, very good point. Because through each four episodes, I think,
Mm-hmm.
three, four, through each of the four episodes, like they've made a very good point to give Kiki like several scenes and kind of like show that bond between him and Will and um or her. Is Kiki's a girl's name, right?
Probably it'll take a human form and it'll be some etchy-ish female.
Yeah, no
Like
doubt. Yeah, with cat ears, of
exactly in
course.
a tail. Like it's just it writes itself every goddamn time.
That's too funny. I think you're definitely right there. But yeah, I think we'll get something out of Kiki more than just like cute little like spell breaking scenes at the lockers. Like
No,
she
Kiki
has
was
done that a couple
bloody
times.
that one time
But
too.
yeah,
Like
like
very
when he's
noticeable
fighting the
scenes.
teacher,
Yeah.
yes, they make a point to show you like Kiki's involved. So very
Hmm.
good observation. I think you're right. Something will come from that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we have that episode where we dive more into that and kind of see what happens. But I think that that's going to probably be a key piece in the anime, which I'm stoked for. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, let's get into why does nobody remember me in this world? God damn, our favorite succubus, Dami Mami fucking person is R.I.P. Is
Right. R.I.P. Vanessa. You were hot for 2 episodes. You're
no
super
more
hot for
boob
2 episodes.
shots for the entire episode.
Yeah, no more nothing against the other ladies of the show, but
Bro, they did it so often though too. Like Vanessa power attack, show the boobs, dodge boobs. It was just like every other scene was just like, let's make sure everyone knows Vanessa has boobs. Let's just make sure.
yeah.
was like,
He was
goddamn.
really sick though. I well, I'll let you go first because I had a staunch opinion on that fight.
Okay, cool. So I literally wrote down animation and story are very cool. Like I really, really enjoy them. I think it has great art. It's sick. Everything like that. The fight scenes suck. I just don't think that they're really good at all. I feel like that they cut out a lot of the stuff that happens. I feel like it is like really kind of zoomed out. I feel like the fights themselves are like very underwhelming. They have like one or two scenes like the only things that stood out from the entire fight, if we're talking about like over the multiple episodes, was when Vanessa fought that thing that came into the Earth, like that came from the time rip or
Read
whatever. You know what I mean? But she had
the
those two big attacks where you're like, oh, like fuck, that looks sick. You thought it was Megabe from Konosuba, you know. But other than that, it was very like, what is this? It's very kind of like lackluster. They cut out a lot of cool parts that could have been in there. It just like didn't quite hit.
I'm totally with you. That was the word I was going to use, lackluster.
Yeah,
Like the scene where Renee kind of like goes rage mode or whatever, uses like all
yeah, like
her DNA, like I don't know what you want to call it, all
Life
the
Force.
stuff inside her. Yeah, or like yeah, she yes,
That's what
yes,
they
yes.
literally use that word. Yeah, Life Force.
So she like powers up, right? And is using like the abilities of all five races. This is like some super unique rare power. She gets murked by Vanessa in seconds. And then like Kai just like cuts behind her. She like looks back and then he like cuts in again and just like literally kills her.
Yeah, it
For
wasn't
me
like
that was
crazy
like
animation wise either. It was just kind of like it was very kind of like
it,
cuts and then it zoomed away to something else, and then you come back and she's on the ground like,
yeah, dying and like giving her like final spiel. For that that was kind of like a low point for me at the episode, but I'm definitely with you. The story is like really cool and like the character design is neat. Like I kind of like the interaction with Jean, Dragon Girl, Renee, and Kai at the end. Like I don't know, Kai's like earning some credibility with like with his actions. Like they were like talking about the other world. They're not just like, yeah, you're a crazy person. Like they're kind of, you know what I mean? They're rocking with him now, and like Renee looks at him and sees like that silhouette of a hood, kind of
mm-hmm.
giving the Prophet Sid vibes. Like I thought that was really neat too. So like there is still a lot to be attracted to, but yeah, I was a little disappointed at this episode, like the fight scene with Vanessa compared to last episode where I forget what that thing is called, but these were sick. The move she uses was really cool.
Oh yeah, like those bursts and stuff. Like yeah, they showed promise too with the fights, especially in the beginning when he fought the first demon and stuff. And you're like, oh, like this could be like really cool, especially like when you have like kind of like the boss fight where you really kind of go off with the animation a little bit. But like yeah, for this one against Vanessa, like this episode, it was like very like again like just lackluster. Like what didn't really like look too appealing. It was kind of just like very basic and simple, and it was kind of like all right. But like other than that, like the anime I still think is like very good. I feel like I think that fight was more based off of setting up the story and the lore than it was the actual fight. So
Yeah, you're definitely right. Just kind of like push us to episode 5 or 6 or wherever it's at. Like put the story in motion. Like they're gonna travel now and go to these other regions where the other heroes
heroes,
are.
yeah. And that's what it kind of set up with like, oh, here are the other heroes. Here's the whole thing with the reincarnation because like that when she was on the ground, she was then talking about the reincarnation. I was kind of like, what the fuck is she still alive? So I am glad that she did die. There is gonna be death in this anime, and like we have some follow through with that. That is very nice. But then yeah, she explained everything, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, here's like another hero's the one doing this, and he's like, oh, now we know that it didn't like affect us. It affected everybody else except us. That's the big difference here. It's like he can't go back to his world now. It doesn't exist anymore because he wasn't taken from it and put somewhere else, right?
Super, super good point. Yeah, they do like they touch on it briefly at the end of the episode. Like they still kind of just gave us like a little bit, like a handful of like what's going on, like just bits and pieces each episode. But yes, you're exactly right. Like kind of like puts the consequences in, and like you said, they follow through with some of like, the death and shit, like which I think makes it more appealing.
Yeah.
Just in the situation they're in. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to like trash the episode and say that it was bad because you're right. It was more about moving the story
Mm-hmm.
forward than like, some Shibuya incident level combat.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think the episode was bad. I thought that the fight itself, when you're kind of looking for that follow through, wasn't good, especially because it did have some promise the first episode, that first part of it. I mean, but yeah, it was way more focused on like let's keep pushing the story, which I thought then was cool. Because it's like okay, we're gonna go to the other regions, we're gonna see all the other different types. There has to be more with that girl. I think her turning into that five elemental beast thing and then not doing shit was very very underwhelming and kind of sad to see because I kind of just don't think that she's strong anymore. You know what I mean? When you kind of go to phase two and you kind of get slapped down. But another thing that's kind of hyping me up, which I'm kind of just making up myself, I hope that in this kind of like world, all of the heroes are at like their prime. Because they even said like Vanessa wasn't this strong before, and now Vanessa's a fucking beast. So I hope that the other heroes are kind of like at their like points, their pinnacles, their top of the tops, and we're gonna see a lot of really cool fight scenes later on when it's more about the fight scenes. But then it's also a lot of investigation, like which one's it gonna be? You know, who's going to be changing it. So I think yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think the story has a shit ton of mystery, but again, it's one of those things where we said the past couple episodes they keep giving us little things here and there, but each little thing they give us has more and more questions. So I am really excited to see this anime dive deeper.
Yeah, and like I feel like as a fan, you got to see it through, like to get that story. You know what I mean? Unless
Mm-hmm.
you're a manga reader, like you don't know. So like I'm definitely rocking with it. And although Rene, Will stocks are up, Rene stocks are definitely down. He definitely took an L, a bad L this episode, but I'm sure whenever events transpire in this, she'll either learn to get stronger, learn different abilities, or like more about herself or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
she will be of some use to Kai, or she'll be like a really important plot element. So it's just exciting to see how it will all unfold, because there's a ton of questions that we still have, even though we were given like a actual solid piece of like lore. You know what I mean?
I will say this: I do think that big things need to happen before the season ends, and especially soon. Because like if you do the whole season where it's like, oh, we're gonna give you a little bit here and there, but it's gonna have more questions, I feel like eventually you're just gonna get bored of the story because it's not like you feel like you really progress anywhere. So I feel like if they drop something like really big, like a couple of things before the season ends, that's gonna be really cool to see, and that's what I really am hoping for. Because again, like yeah, we're just getting little things here and there, and I'd love to have that one thing that just breaks the story open. Where you're like, oh shit, like this is gonna be insane. So that's what I'm really hoping for within the next like couple of weeks.
I'm definitely with you. Within the next two episodes, I'd like to see the story kind of push forward a little more. Like you said, have that event, or somebody, the character that shows up that kind of like brings people back in and keeps you like really interested in it. Because like there's a lot of story to be told. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta we want to start hearing it.
Exactly, exactly. So should we talk about Alya hides her feelings in Russian, and should I give my hot
Ah,
ass take?
yeah, let me hear it, baby. Tell me what you thought of Alya episode 5.
Okay, listen, listen. I don't know what it was. I think it was the non-seriousness, and it was the way that she presented it and the way that she was like talking in her tone. But Yuki reminds me of Kazuma from Konosuba, or it's just like you're just this dipshit pervert, and because of that, I didn't mind anything in the episode. I looked at it more as funny because it was kind of too over the top to take serious, and I kind of looked at it more like Konosuba than like a serious thing.
I was like, especially the way they get you though, like he's like, they like pull you in the fucking beginning of the episode where Kuze's like, internalizing his feelings for
Oh yeah,
Arya,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, oh man, like why did I say that? Like, he's having feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
like he got kissed on the cheek. Then he's like, wow, oh my sister's home. Like, let me see what's going on. And through the fucking intro, they just hammer you with the naked shower scene. Like,
I did think
although
that
I will
that part
say
was way too far, but like everything following that was again like Kazuma, where it was like super kind of like funny.
it wasn't like real etchy. What I would compare it to all my degenerates
Well,
out there, and I
well, it
know you
wasn't
know
too
what I'm
edgy
talking
after the
about.
first couple of seconds. The first couple of seconds was way too overboard.
Yeah, she like puts her towel on and stuff. Like you don't. It's not
Yeah.
that horrible, but it's not good. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not.
Especially after Wincest comment in episode 2. We didn't forget about
But
that.
that's the thing where you don't take her seriously. You look at her as a Cosmo like that
Joking
idiot
about it.
pervert, where it's like a joke, but like it then doesn't become a joke, which is literally naked in the bathroom. Like,
Well, she's really taking this joke all the way. We'll say that.
yeah, she's taking it
But
too far.
I'm definitely with you. I wasn't like, dude, this is like overly horny. This is like weird as shit.
Yeah.
Like she jokes about it, but I know the people out there that have seen this anime, you know what fucking scene I'm talking about. Like episode 6 of My Dress Up Darling, when Gojo comes home and he thinks it's his grandpa in the bathroom, which why would you walk in on grandpa in the bathroom? But it's Juju, and she slips and falls, and then his spread eagle, you know, Lady Bits to his face, and you can see the reflection in his eyes, and then he compares her to a kid. It was like, all right, this is too far. This is where I draw the line.
That was
That was like
too
that
far.
was a rough bathroom scene. This was like comical and a little etchy, which obviously Yuki like plays into it like Kazuma, so
Yeah.
it passed. We'll hit it with the pass of the stamp of
But
approval, just barely.
it was so funny when he was like 'cause that's what like really reminded me of like her like tone like like the way she was like it really felt like a joke, but like he was sitting there and he's like by the way, like just showing everything isn't where it is. It's the sneak peek, it's the teaser that we
Sneak
love.
peek,
And she's like,
hysterical.
oh, she's like fuck, you're right. You got me. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
and then later, like Alya goes to put her hair up and it like shows her armpit, and he's like, "See, this is what I'm talking about. Yuki, the sneak peeks are the best." Like, also, Kuze has that side to him too. Like, they are like the
Runs in the
siblings,
family.
yeah, but like he postures around her or whatever. Like, that was really funny though. Like, it's not too over the top. I feel like.
I feel like it more plays the joke of it because it just seems like but it's kind of like when we were talking about earlier. It's like just degenerate like weebs just like joking about it because we had that conversation where we were joking about like the etchy like stickers and stuff where like it's just like really funny. Like it's at the point where it's like oh yeah like this is cool but like you're not like grossly obsessed with it. It's just to make other people feel uncomfortable. Where you're like oh like look at this, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like the same kind of idea where like she doesn't actually like want that. I hope it's more so like let's just like joke about this and like kind of like have a laugh about it. You know what I mean? Because like again, it was like the way that they were like talking about it. They weren't talking about it like with like him with her. It was more like about like those kind of scenes. But she even said it. She's like, we haven't had the walking in on your sibling scene yet. You know what I
And like she's
mean?
like talking to like the viewer, the camera, like the fourth
Yeah.
wall type shit. Like it was really comical. It wasn't like super etchy. And like obviously the minute he opens the door, yeah, she's like, "Ew, you perv!" Like she definitely plays it up. Like it's pretty funny. So
But
I'll give it a pass, but hopefully it doesn't get like outrageous.
yeah, but then again, she just jokes about it, she lies. Where she's like, so did you sneak a peek? And he's like, fuck no, like ew. And she's like, are you lying? And then they're like talking about it, and she's like, I can't believe you remembered you were my first boob grab. And he was like, what? And she starts making up this fake scene. He's like, I didn't do that. That's a lie. Like you were sick the entire like your entire like kindergarten like whatever. But she was saying like in second grade or something like he slipped and ended up grabbing her boob, and she was like, he's like, that's a lie. Like in second grade, like you were in a hospital bed the entire year.
Yeah.
She's like, so it could have happened, and he was like, exactly. It was like a lie. Like she just makes stuff up, and it's like I feel like it's just like all a joke. Like it's something that you can't even take serious now for like multiple reasons. It's just too overdone. They play it too much like a joke. And again, she reminds me of Kazuma, where it's like I don't think it's serious. But I think that exact scene happened in Konosuba, where he was in a towel and he's like, "Ooh, like ladies, you staring?" She's like, "What the fuck?" And then
Yeah.
the doesn't the towel fall? And Megami is like, "Oh my god!" And Aqua's is like, nice. Like,
Nice. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there was that scene, and Cosmo's freaking the fuck out, like, oh shit, I didn't mean for it to fall, and he starts covering up real quick. Like, it
And
just
he's
reminds me
like
too much of that. It reminds me too much of it.
he's yeah, he's like that I don't know what you want to call it, that like otaku archetype. And she like definitely plays into that. And it's not
Exactly.
like yeah, it's a joke. So like other than that, like it was still comical, even scene. But like the episode I still felt like was it was good. Like you're really starting to
I feel like
pick
he
up the
was the one that
pace.
got a little too horny.
And then like Alya goes to like feel his head and he like
Hmm.
looks down and he's like, "Oh, maybe she wasn't kidding. Are these E cups?" Like
Yeah.
but like even he's like funny with it, you know what I mean? Like he does have those etchy moments just like Yuki, but they're comical to a degree.
Yuki's like yeah, his is not like bad though because it's not like you're seeing it like inappropriate things like when he looks like her boobs like she's wearing a t-shirt like this, you know what I mean? It's not like you can like see
Or like
cleavage.
gym uniform. Yeah, it's
But
not that
then
bad.
it's funny how like Yuki was fucking with him like in his head talking about like e-cups, but it was like under like further consideration or something like that. Like she needs to like do more homework to figure that out. And he's like
Needs
yeah,
citation.
it needs citation, but he's like oh they could be bigger. Like it was just
Yeah.
like he was just like in his head just like thinking about dumb shit. But then like her sister then goes and like dries his head and he's thinking about that, and that's when Alya then gets pissed off. Like dude like I feel like this episode was just like way too horny, but like not in a bad way. It was in a comical way, but it was just like, bro, like you gotta like chill out. You're turning into your sister.
Yeah, exactly. Like and I find it funny like their dynamic is like all pretty entertaining the way
Mm-hmm.
like they all get along, whatever way you want to call that. but I felt like this episode was like the precipice of us ramping up like the romance. Like
Hmm.
Alya's sister is like forcing herself, not maybe not forcing,
Oh yeah,
but
she
like
is. She's getting into the mix. She doesn't give a shit.
she's putting herself in the mix and like she's showing up. She's making sure to be seen and like talk with Kuze, and like you kind of seen Alya get jealous. Like I feel like we're starting to ramp that up. So I'm really excited to see like what the next 2 or 3 episodes bring us as far as like the drama, if you will.
And like I said, the thing about like Yuki is that like I love the brother sister relationship where it's like you have those moments like when she like he says that he's gonna run with Alya, which makes sense that she'd be upset because like she wants to run with her brother as president and VP and stuff, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna do it with somebody else. You know what I mean? And he wakes up the next morning and she's not like barging in his room like greeting him. Like she usually does. And he goes to get out of bed, and she's under the bed and grabs his leg. And she's like, "Ah, you thought I'd be depressed, like psych." And she like fucking like jokes with him like that. She's like so high energy, so like fucking with him, and he's like gets so scared, he starts freaking out, and she's like, I'm stuck. Like I'm stuck under here. Like you have to pull me out. And he's like, nope. And he like stuffs the blanket, like suffocating her under the bed, so she can't get out. Like those like moments where it's just so funny, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like they like no animes like kind of like play that more. You know what I mean? Like that brother sister relationship where like they fuck with each other a lot. Like it's borderline hurt each other and like mess with each other and joke around.
Yeah, it's like natural, like the shit you do with your siblings growing up,
Hmm.
and like, you argue and like make fun of each other and like push each other when you're like around your crush or whatever. Like it's pretty entertaining, and I don't think they've like Yuki's like, yeah, that like Kazuma type character. It's
It's
not
not
too over the
serious.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm really excited to see the next couple episodes. I want to see kind of how it plays out and kind of how like the whole student council thing and like this election goes, because I see it like, if I have to take a guess, like I would say Alya and Kuze get really close and like they work with each other and she can depend on him and he shows that he's dependable, which he has before.
Hmm.
But like they end up together and Yuki is gonna win class president.
Well, dude, there's a lot that's gonna happen because something that we haven't been talking about is there is another girl that's gonna be added to the mix. She is in the art, and we also see her in the opening, but she's in the opening in a maid outfit, so you know that the weird, kind of like corny jokes are gonna get even worse.
Competition.
Because now
Anything in a maid outfit.
you're
That's stiff
adding a,
competition.
yeah, you're adding a girl in a maid outfit apparently. So this is gonna get fucking either really weird or way funnier. Because God
Or
knows
both.
Yuki, dude, like I love Yuki's character. I just hope it doesn't like start to cross a line because, like, in my opinion, the beginning of the bath scene was kind of crossing the line. It was just way too weird. They didn't have to be like that. You know what I mean? They could have had the towel wrapped around her or something. But like, other than that, like, it's becoming like really funny because she really is that Kazuma type character where it is just pure fucking chaos. It is just absolute chaos, and it's just like goddamn, like it's just so comical and just so like she takes something that like, could be like a serious romance anime, it just blows it up. She just sets it on fire. But you're
Yeah,
right. Good.
she's a really good part of like the dynamic, because like she still motivates and like encourages and fucks with her brother, which I
Hmm.
think keeps him honest and keeps him from being like lazy, which he can be at times. You know what I mean? So yeah, Yuki is a definitely a good part of the story, even if she's a little etchy. And I blame the writers. It's literally the next scene after the intro, like it just cuts to
Oh
that
yeah.
nudie shot. It's like, all right, what you did here? You got me. Yeah, you got me.
The thing is, though, is that too is that like, she even said she's like when she wasn't even really that upset, but she's like, oh, like finally someone was able to motivate him. You know what I mean? Like she obviously like cares for her brother. And to be honest, I know a little spoiler. I know what ended up happening between him and his family, so like it does make sense. And like they're teasing it right now, but they aren't fully explaining it. But when you find out exactly what happened between him, his sister, and his parents, it makes sense why he is the way he is and she is the way she is. Um, so it will get
Okay.
better. I think that too. What you're saying is that like they're going to be working together, Aya and the MC, since they're going to be running together. I feel like where are they going to be working at? Probably Aya's house. We're gonna have a lot of interaction with him with Masha as well. So I feel like that's gonna be very interesting because
Ooh.
Masha is kind of at the point where she's like, "Hey, I'm kind of just being a good big sister, kind of like forcing Aya's hand to kind of like progress things because Aya's not gonna do it. But if Aya slips up, Masha's there waiting. So I feel like things are gonna get chaotic
Yes.
and gonna be awesome. I feel like this is gonna be like a bizarre anime this season.
But like it's fun, you know what I mean? I think you hit the nail on the
Hmm.
head. That's like a perfect way to see it through, and like I'm having fun with it. You know what I mean? It's like more enjoyable than like some of the other like I don't know. I don't really want to call it a harem. To a degree, it is kind of like
I wouldn't say it is. I wouldn't say it is.
not like traditionally though. Like he's got girls that are interested in him, but like they're doing a very good job of like walking that line. Like Yuki's character is like good. You know what I mean? It's not too over the top or too inappropriate or etchy. And like the other two relationships are like progressing naturally. You know what I mean? They're not like weird or like forced or anything. So I think it's really good now. I just hope they keep going steady like they are.
It really is like, how do I put this? It really is like My Dress Up Darling mixed with Konosuba, mixed with like a serious
Yeah,
romance anime.
very yeah,
Like
that's like spot on.
with each episode, you don't know what you're gonna get because like some episodes are very like character development based and actually like serious relationship based. Other episodes are just very chaotic and funny. Other ones are kind of like more like My Dress Up Darling, which is kind of like a mix. So it's like, yeah, it's an interesting anime. Each week you don't know what you're gonna get. It's all over, which I'm hyped for it. I can't wait for it to like finish building and kind of like start moving forward more.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with you. It's enjoyable and like fun because you don't really know what to expect. It keeps you on your toes, but yeah, I'm excited to see how it plays out. I
That
know it's gonna be there's gonna be some mayhem that
Oh,
happens.
absolutely. That scene had me dying though, where like Alya is like, oh wow, he's trying so hard today, and she goes up and just boom spikes the ball. She's on it. She's in it. She looks over at him. And she
Crushes it.
gets he gets smoked in the back of the head.
Yeah, he gets knocked out. Yeah, it's so good.
And she's like, oh my god.
And then she like takes care of him. She was worried about him. Like that was a really, really good scene.
But it's so funny how she got motivated and she was locked in because she thought like, oh my god, like look how attentive he is today. Look how hard he's working for me. And then she just turns over to him and he just gets fucking destroyed by a volleyball.
Perfect. Yeah, very well done.
It was just so good. But yeah, solid episode, solid week of anime. Next week looks like it's gonna be even more insane with Aya hides her feelings in Russian. With Why Does Nobody in This World Remember Me? Because that's gonna be taking more direction. Same with Elusive Samurai. Maybe we might see a little more action. And I mean Wistoria, god damn the Magic Festival. It is gonna be absolutely insane. I mean next week's gonna be crazy. We had My Hero Academia this week as well. That had some stuff to talk about, but next week is when we're really going to talk about because Deku is finally entered the scene, and he entered pretty nicely. That hit felt good. It felt amazing.
Yes. Very good. It was a good episode, but yeah, I feel like My Hero's like pacing is a little weird. It's fast at times and then slow. Like, I feel like next week will be the week it pops off and we're really able to like get rolling.
Well, we hope. So I just remember Deku's probably going to sit there and talk for like 30 minutes. He's going to see Bakugo, and he's probably going to have his moment. So
Flashbacks. Like even this episode, there was a lot of yapping. You know, I won't call it a yap sesh because there was some hits back and forth, but it was
yeah,
close.
but hey, that is it for this week. I'm excited for next week. I hope you guys are too. Blake, is there anything else you want to say before we hop off?
This is the week. It's time to invest. It's time to allocate our funds. The Bank of Will. We're investing. I'm calling it
Oh,
now.
yo, put all your
Pop
money
it
on
off.
Will. Put all your money on Will. Bro, the betting odds have to be insane, too. He has to be plus, like, 20,000.
And like you said, like he works two jobs and like he's this grinder, hard worker kid. Like it would be nice to see Colette bet on him or this shady
Yeah.
chick and like give him maybe not make him rich or whatever, but give him some money and like, yeah, you've earned this. And like if everybody's doubting you, here's the reward for that.
You know what I'd love? I'd love for him to win, and then Colette kind of comes and it's kind of like, oh, like hey, or even his roommate and kind of like show a bunch of money and kind of like, yeah, well, I bet on you. You want some? So you don't have to like throw
Yes.
newspapers in the morning anymore. You know what I mean? Because like he's too established at the tavern. No way he's leaving the tavern. But like at least now he doesn't have to like deliver newspapers. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff would be so cool. And I think that if they don't hit on that, then they really kind of like drop the ball because like you set it up so well for a scene like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So hopefully we're right, but this is the week, man. I'm all in. All my chips are on the Bank of Will.
Bro, this week is going to be amazing. Hope you guys enjoy it. See you guys next week. And
Peace.